Hello and welcome back to more Football Manager 2019 with me, Mr. Grand 2, and episode 39 of Monaco. And after last time where we had a triple game special, largely because the games against Bordeaux and Juventus were incredibly boring, I've never had a game have literally no highlights. The Juventus game, no highlights whatsoever. But we did wrap up with a 3-0 win against Marseille, which was far more entertaining and enjoyable than the other two. Just the one game since then, a 4-0 win at home against Dijon in the league. Patrick Schick getting himself 2 goals, finally opening his account for the season and doing it in style. As you may have seen, Benjamin Hendricks played in that match. The reason for that is that Djibril Sidibe is injured. He got injured shortly after international duty with me. Nothing to do with me though, just a unlucky thing that happened. He's out for 2 more weeks, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we should be able to cope without him. So before we get into today's games against PSG and first of all Dynamo Kiev, our mortal enemies in Champions League terms at least, I just wanted to mention the fact that you may have seen on some screens is that I have got a new assistant manager. I got him over the summer. Vieira has gone, and his general sort of negativity, he was all right, but I think this guy's a lot better. We've got Marco Landucci, who I think, looking at his job history, formerly an assistant manager to Antonio Conte. I'm not sure who else he's worked for, but he's come in as our new assistant manager. He's got some really good attributes, particularly mentally. He's got considerably better judging player ability, much better determination and man management, and pretty good motivation and discipline as well. So definitely an upgrade. And without further ado, it's time to play Dynamo Kiev. We need to win this again, just really for the bragging rights. We can't allow them to one-up us like they did in the first season. We've held the advantage since then, did very well against them last year. We need to keep up once more. So Lafont is unsurprisingly going to be in goal for this one. Mendy, Martinez, De Ligt and Henriks is the back four. Henriks, of course, playing in the absence of Sidibe. Balde comes back in on the left-hand side. He's recovered from injury. Skov is going to be on the right, of course, still the star man this season. Kessie and Tielemans in the middle with Golovin and Schick up front. Well, a few additions for Kiev. They still have Stevan Jovetic, of course, after we sold him to them in the first season. They've got David Zapacosta, Zinchenko as well. Hopefully, though, we still have more than enough to beat them. We did completely, comprehensively beat them, I believe, home and away last season, if memory serves. So we need to continue in that vein and not allow any sort of repeats of our first Champions League season, where we, of course, finished bottom of the group largely due to losing both games we played against Dynamo Kiev. Pretty big pitch we appear to have this season. Patrick Schick with the first goal, slotting home after scoring 2 in the game against Dijon, which you didn't see. He begins, gets his first goal of the season in an episode, slotting home in the right place at the right time, as he so often is. His decision making and movement very, very good. Bit of a blip at the start of the year, as we said, but he's well on the way. Free kick from Skov to make it 2-0, and of course he does. Already his 7th of the season for the Dane. That's really just the perfect position for him, isn't it? He's never going to miss from there. Poor decision by the goalkeeper really to allow any sort of massive gap like that. And Skov is always going to take it. Well, I did play a full strength side today because given our past record against Kiev, I didn't want a repeat of that. But it's been a very, very good start, which means we could take some players off and rest them. But again, I don't want to risk any injuries by overplaying these guys. Balde putting the ball across. Kessie's there for his 3rd of the season. It's becoming a little bit of a rout. Of course, I mean, we can qualify from our Champions League group as soon as possible. It means that even against Juventus in the second game, we could potentially play a rotated side. Skov with another free kick, looking for De Ligt, just wide. And we come forward again just before half-time. Golovin looking for Balde. It's bounced kindly for him. He lashes a shot over the bar. Well, a red-hot performance from us in the first half, almost as hot as the temperature in the UK here today. But let's keep it up in the second half. No silly injuries, and we'll set ourselves up nicely in our Champions League group. Balde looking for Schick, runs inside, could have made it 4-0, really should have done, puts it over. Well, potential chance for Jovetic just went and was well defended by us, and we're counter-attacking with speed. Great pass by Golovin into Schick, but he puts it wide once again. Ball's bounced to Mendy. Is he going to go for one of those wild shots again? Not this time. Tielemans plays it in, but instead it's been intercepted by Kiev. A chance for them to break. Zappacosta, though, stopped by De Ligt, and Berardi, he's on as a substitute. Not really seen much from him yet in a Monaco shirt, and nothing doing at the moment. Once again, excellent reading by Matthias De Ligt. Tielemans puts it in, and Patrick Schick needs no invitation. He grabs himself his second of the game. That's 4 in 2 for him. He's had to wait a bit of time to open his account for the season, but now he's in fine form. Well, this game is done. Was pretty much petering out before that goal, but a chance to get some players off. I think Kessie. I have a slight feeling Kessie may end up being slightly injury prone. I'm not sure, but he needs to go off. We'll take off Mendy as well. Well, 30 seconds left, and it's a final highlight of the match. Kiev trying to come forwards. I'm not what this is done, boys. I don't think you're going to get back into this one. Hopefully we can keep the clean sheet intact. Shot comes in from Verbic. Lafont concentrating enough. He's alive to stop it pretty easily, though. And I think this is probably going to be it. There we go. Final whistle. 4-0 win. And what was that? I just looked at the table. Was that what I thought had happened? Brøndby have beaten Juventus. How on earth has that happened? Ante Erceg, or Erceg, I'm not sure how you say that, 31-year-old Croatian, with finishing and composure of 13-7, has scored an 83rd minute goal to beat Juventus. Surely one of the greatest results in the history of Brøndby IF. That's really made our jobs considerably easier. Juventus in massive danger now. Well, a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. A very good performance from the boys. Don't let it get to your heads. Skov's a bit upset by that. We'll give him some special attention. Bobby, mate, you're amazing. You're wonderful. I love you. Don't get mad. He's loving life. There we go. Okay, fantastic result. Both our result and the Juventus game as well. Let's rest everybody for a couple of days, and then we will be back for a top-of-the-table clash against PSG. I didn't actually show you the table. But our win against Dijon has meant we've maintained a 3-point gap ahead of PSG. So our second game of the episode against PSG, top of the table clash, as it so often has been over the course of the save. And let's talk about PSG, because wouldn't you know it, they've only gone out and spent an absolutely obscene amount of money again over the summer. Who'd have thunk it? Thomas Tuchel, despite my predictions, is still here. Of course, manager of the year last year in Liga. For some reason, he's not exactly won much in his time here, since I've been at Monaco anyway. I think I'm right in saying 1 Coupe de France, 1 Trophy de Champions. Indeed, 1 Coupe de France, 1 Trophy de Champions. The only thing he has to show for his time in the capital. And yet somehow, 3 years in, he's still got a job. I don't really think the PSG manager would last 3 years without winning a league title. But there we are. Just the 270 million spent this summer. They brought in 43 million though, so that's just a net spend of 227 million. It's slightly ridiculous how they haven't failed financial fair play. I know they get lots of money from sponsorship, board investments, whatever, but I mean, this is screaming out as financial fair play violation. 287 million last year, 271 million the year before, 60 million in the first year. But they're spending at least 270 million pounds every summer. Like, they're not bringing that much in terms of revenue from merchandise and ticket sales and things like that. Yes, they get a lot of money from their sponsorship via their owners, but I mean, how they haven't failed FFP despite all that, I don't really get. But they have started letting a few players go. They've sold Zivkovic, Trapp, Areola. But in terms of the major signings that they've made this time, Chiesa for 69 million, Milinkovic-Savic for 74 million, Xavi for 20 million, not the Xavi, a new Xavi, a regen Xavi from Gremio, 20-year-old Brazilian. I mean, he does look pretty good, but I'm 20 million already. Don't know. Nordi Mokiele, I think that's how you say it. He's already been called up to the France squad by me. He's pretty good, isn't he? From RB Leipzig for £28 million. And then a few other players as well. Nicholas Stark, Jota as well for big fees. These two guys are regens. I wanted to sign this guy, Sigurd Asrud, or whatever, Norwegian defender. Looks really pretty solid, doesn't he? Except for his passing, that's the only thing, but otherwise looks really nice. But unfortunately he chose to go to PSG instead. So their lineup's pretty fearsome. They get more and more players every season, but we've managed to see them off 3 years in a row, and I'm pretty confident we can do it again. Mbappe's up front for this one, Neymar on the left, Shigankov on the right. Pogba and Milinkovic-Savic is a pretty solid midfield too, isn't it? With Bentancur behind them as well. But I trust in our players. We've got the quality to see this through. Well, we failed to beat PSG last season in our 2 league matches against them. A draw in the first one and a defeat in the second. Pretty crushing defeat, actually. It was only 2-0, but they completely outplayed us. Hopefully no repeat of that one today. Although Balde appears to have picked up a little injury to start things off. Not the best way to start proceedings. Hopefully he can continue for the time being. I might well have to put Jack Clark on, though, if need be. Free kick from Neymar, the first highlight of the entire match, 32 minutes in. Wild effort from the Brazilian. Other than that, absolutely nothing happening. PSG have had 3 shots on target. We have had none, which doesn't bode particularly well. Balde's not playing especially well, and given his injury, and he's just got a yellow card, I'm going to take him off here at half time, just to avoid any serious injury. I don't know what to say. I think we've not been the better team. I am happy with their performance in the sense that I would like a draw if we can't get a win. But yeah, not the best performance so far. We haven't really offered anything. 2 shots to their 8, to their 9 now, and no shots on target. Kessie, though, driving forwards. He's found Clark, looking for the ball across. Marquinhos clears it. Mendy's there, and Skov cracks it against the crossbar. We've had our first shot on target, although it's not counted. How is that not on target? Neymar with a free kick, claimed by Lafont, and Marquinhos is offside. And, well, it wasn't over the line. That wasn't as close as the one in the last episode. Well, we finally had our first shot on target, 69 minutes in. Didn't get to see it, though. We seem to be relatively defensively holding firm. I would take a draw. I really would take a draw here. Not the most exciting match at all, but a very important result if we can see this out. 5 minutes to go. Not made any substitutions, but I mean nothing else has happened. That is it. Full time. Well, we might not be able to beat the top teams we've played so far this season, but they're not beating us either. A very boring 0-0 against Juventus, and now a very boring 0-0 against PSG. I'm not going to be hard on them at all, mate. I'm going to say I'm happy with that performance. We kept PSG at bay, and the fact of the matter is, yes, we could have beaten them and pulled away from them, but away from home, they've got so many threats. A draw is a very positive result. It keeps the gap, at 3 points. That's all we need. And considering that they dominated the game in terms of shots, I'll take that any day of the week. Well, there we are then, top of the league after 11 games played, 9 wins, 2 draws, no defeats, 29 points, a 3-point lead over PSG. If we keep on winning between now and the next time we play them, and even if they do not slip up at all, as long as we keep winning, we will still be in the lead. Although I would hope we would have opened up a little bit more of a gap by then. So looking good on both fronts that we've gone into so far. Hopefully we can continue things next time, and next time will probably be the final Champions League group stage match against Juventus, depending on how things are going. We may play Nice and Brøndby. That could be good, but I think we'll go a little bit further. We'll go until the Juventus game, and then either play probably Saint Etienne, because they've been pretty difficult for us in recent seasons as well. So thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next episode. Give it a share as well on social media, and I will see you next time.